Hi everyone, welcome to Greeklish Outdoors. Today we are looking at the M-11 or Mach 11 air pistol by KWC. So, stick around. So I have wanted this air pistol for quite some time. It is a very iconic looking air pistol. You may have seen it in various movies, including Blade, where Blade himself has a modified version of the Mach 11, which fires silver bullets to kill vampires. You may have also seen it in Pulp Fiction with the suppressed version where Bruce Willis kills John Travolta's character in the kitchen with it. And you also might have seen it at the beginning of the film Commando, where they use it for an assassination in the middle of a suburban area. But it just looks so cool. Often people get this confused with the Uzi, but they are very, very different guns indeed. The actual M11 was designed in the 70s by Gordon Ingram at the Military Armament Corps, hence the name Mach that it sometimes gets. And it is a smaller subcompact version of the Mach 10. The original has a 32 round magazine capacity and could fire 1,200 rounds per minute. Although that might seem impressive, it was actually one of the major complaints of this gun. That extremely high fire rate means that in 2 seconds you can empty the magazine, and it also makes it extremely inaccurate. Today, of course, we have the airgun version, which is semi-automatic firing steel BBs, and hopefully it'll be a little bit more accurate. Anyway, first up, let's have some facts and figures. So the M11 4.5mm air pistol by KWC. This air pistol is made in Taiwan, and it is virtually identical to the version made by ASG, but this version is actually cheaper. It weighs 531 grams, has a length of between 255 and 455 millimeters, and that is because of the extendable stock. It has a synthetic body, a metal stock. It has a quoted power output of 2.5 joules and a BB velocity of 120 meters per second. We will check that, of course, later on. It has a magazine capacity of 39 BBs and takes 12 gram CO2 cylinders. So as I said, it is a very iconic looking gun. It feels great in the hand. Although it's a polymer construction, it does feel pretty sturdy, to be honest. One thing I can say is that extendable stock is a little bit fiddly. You have to squeeze those two metal bars at the back together to flip that part down, then press the button underneath there and it will extend. The stock is okay, it's not the best design stock ever. It does support a little bit into your shoulder, but it is also a little bit slippy and tends to kind of want to ride upwards. Also, one thing I've noticed when shooting this is that if you're actually using the stock, it's very, very difficult to aim through the sights. They are too low when you have got the stock to your shoulder. So in a way, you have to have the stock resting above your shoulder, which again is not really what it's meant to be doing. Some of the features on this are just for show, like the safety here is fixed in place. The actual bolt to rack it up is actually fixed in place also. There is a safety, which is at the front here. So it now is in safe mode. You slide it forward to put it in fire. There is room for it to go slightly further forward, but it is blocked by this bolt here. I do wonder if there are automatic versions out there which maybe have been converted. If you know of any, let me know. The sights are fixed at the front and rear. There's that small hole you can see at the back. At the front of the gun, there is that stick in the center to aid your aim. The bolt is cut away so you can aim all the way through. The sights aren't the easiest to look through, but again, it's a replica, so there's not really much the manufacturer would do to adjust that, to be honest. It has to kind of try and be faithful a little bit to the original design. To eject the magazine, there is a button there. You press that down and this very nice long magazine comes out. Again, the magazine feels nice and sturdy. Just clips back in there very, very nicely. No pulling the bolt back to engage the first round necessary. Simply put it in fire mode, which you can do with one hand, and you are off. So in the box you obviously get the gun, you also get some leaflets and information. If you lift this part of the box up, you get your Allen key for loading your CO2 cartridge in, and it also comes with a few free steel BBs. I'm not going to use those today, I have some of my own with me. Today I'm going to be using the Razor Gun Airgun Silver BBs, which are 0.35 grams. Well, let's load up a CO2 cartridge, which you do by ejecting the magazine, and the CO2 cartridge goes in the bottom. Let's unscrew that with the Allen key provided. 12 gram CO2 cartridge, in it goes. Then we need to tighten this back up again. That's it, until we hear the hiss. Now we need to load the steel BBs. It does take 39 BBs, but unfortunately this spring does not lock, so you do have to hold that in place, otherwise you are going to get BB spraying everywhere. Let's see if we can do that now without getting them all over the place. This is the time you really wish you had a speed loader, as unfortunately I can't do it directly from the bottle. So yeah, doing them individually is a bit of a pain in the butt. Right, once that is loaded, it can then be placed back into the handle, and now we are ready to rock and roll. First up though, let's check those power output and BB velocities over the chronograph. So I wanted to double check those power output and velocity figures that KWC claim. So I put the gun over my chronograph and I got power output figures of 2.25 joules or 1.66 foot-pounds, and that gave a speed of 113 meters per second or 371.8 feet per second. So that's pretty close to what they claim, 2.25 versus 2.5 and 113 versus 120 meters per second. So that's not too bad, I don't think. So now let's check accuracy. I'm going to do this in two different ways, one with that stock extended and one with it pushed in and just using it as a pistol. Right, first up with the stock out. First with the stock out, from 10 meters away, let's give this a go. Now let's put that stock back in and try it from a pistol shooting position. Next, using a rest. So the accuracy, well, when we look at all targets side by side, you can see that all the BBs do pull a little bit to the right. That is more of the case when I'm using no stock and just having the gun extended out in front of me. I do expect that to be a little bit less accurate as it's not as stable as the other positions I used. The stock, not too bad, and the rest is probably about equal really. They're just in different positions. One's a little bit high, one's a little bit low, but overall accuracy isn't too bad, I don't think. And that is also with the issue that the trigger has. So there's the trigger, it's very, very stiff. We go all that distance there, it's quite a bit of pressure as well until we eventually click. So the distance we have to pull the trigger is quite a lot, I think, and it is very, very stiff to pull. When the magazine's in, there's an initial kind of click which you don't get when the magazine is not in there. There's the first click, and then again you have to pull really hard until the actual gun fires. So all of that means that when you are firing the gun, you're putting a lot of tension on the trigger and therefore a little bit of wobble. Even if you have the rest, it's quite a strong trigger to pull. But overall, I don't think it's too bad. It's not going to win any awards on the target range, but it's not really meant for that. It's meant to be a fun plinker. So let's go to our next two items. One is how fast can I fire all 39 BBs out of this? And is it any fun? Ooh, yeah. So is it fun? Yeah, it certainly is. Especially with that high capacity magazine, you can really unload on your targets. Yeah, a lot of fun. Right, how fast can I fire all 39 BBs out of this air pistol? Let's find out. Oh, I really wish that bolt worked. Anyway. Pretty quick is the answer, but it doesn't have tie your finger out because this is a really weighty trigger. But you gotta love that large magazine. So what do I think of the KWC M-11 air pistol? Well, I think it's a lot of fun. It's nice in the hand. The quality feels very good. It's an okay accuracy for an air pistol of this type. Definitely fun to play around with, and the power output's not too bad for an air pistol too. About regular air pistol power output, to be honest, about 120 meters per second and 2.5 joules, so that's okay. The only things I can complain about are loading that magazine does take forever and it's very, very fiddly. Maybe with a speed loader a little bit easier, but yeah, it would be nice if that spring locked in place at the bottom and maybe a little wider opening at the top. The stock, to be honest, I don't like. Yes, I know it's part of the original design, but it's slippery. You can't really aim with it if you have the stock out. You can only probably use it from waist level and fire it like that, like a submachine gun, I suppose, and then therefore the accuracy is pretty crap. If you want to use the sights, then you can use it as a pistol, and from that point of view it's quite comfortable to shoot. So overall, I like this. It is a shame it's not fully automatic like the original model, but you can't have everything. Maybe someone out there has done a modification and you can let me know if they have, and maybe we can have a little look at this one afterwards. But how much does it cost? Well, this version costs around 80 euros, and I said the ASG version is about 10 euros more, depending on where you buy it. And as there was virtually no difference, I could see it all apart from a little bit of labelling, I went for the cheaper option. So that was the M-11 or Mach 11 by KWC. Let me know you thought of this in the comment section below. If you did like this video, please subscribe as it really helps the channel out. But for now, thanks for watching, take care, much love, see you next time.